Sorry for that technical difficulty. Actually, not quite sure what happened. Software crashed and had to rebuild a few things. But we are back. See, as Dave was saying, when you're on the bleeding edge, sometimes you get cut, and such is life. So, Dave, where were we at? Do you remember? I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'll give you some direction here. Let me just let me make sure our.
I can look on here, but I.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna just go back to the page and make sure we've got a Facebook feed here.
I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think the error, what's really interesting, I just had Facebook crash, so I think the error may have been with Facebook. It is possible. But anyway, we got one of our audience back.
All right, welcome back.
We'll keep trucking here. So, Dave, at least what was top of mind for me is you guys operate a showroom that is rather unique in the industry. And there was a question that was posed. Let me just get back to the comments on our previous feed. And there was a question posed by by Debbie. And she was asking, do you have designated people in your showroom that are there to show people around or to greet clients? Or is it just kind of whoever is available would ultimately meet with someone that was to walk around?
Good question, Debbie. So we have one guy who sits behind our counter if he's not running around the showroom with somebody else. And he is there to welcome people into our showroom, find out what they are here for, and then either if it's a retail customer looking for a pair of speakers or a piece of Sonos or EOS, then he gives them the information they're looking for, maybe a demo, shows them the rest of our showroom just in case they don't know what it is that we completely do here. And if it requires some custom, or if it's a custom client or prospective client for custom, we usually have a custom sales guy here, not just because we want them here in the building. They're usually better out in the field or working on proposals and design. But if that is the case, then he will introduce them to one of our system designers. So our front door is open the whole time that the business is open, and there's always somebody staffing the showroom.
Now, Dave, do you have any tips for the industry folks out there that are trying to, say, get better at or learn better techniques as it relates to being successful with hi-fi audio? I know that you guys have success. It's not just in your name, but you guys have a lot of success selling hi-fi. What do you attribute that success, and how could others in the industry, take a few of your tips perhaps and tips and use them?
If I thought about it, which I am right now, when most of us in this company got involved in this industry, we were already audio people, meaning we enjoyed audio more than just something playing out of an AM radio or FM radio in a car or a little mini system at home. We were audio guys to begin with, and so that was always our passion. And one of my lead custom guys, his main passion is high-end audio. And, if you really love something, you're really not even selling it to somebody. You're just giving them the experience, and they kind of sell themselves on it once they get the proper experience. Again, why we feel we need a showroom to be able to give them the proper experience. You're not going to get that on Amazon or anybody else's online store. You're not going to get the experience of the full emotional experience of good quality audio. So I think at first it requires somebody that really has a passion for higher-end audio, and also the ability to demonstrate it.
Do you feel that having a showroom is critical for success with high-performance audio sales?
Yes, it's not necessarily a critical, I don't think, to be an integrator, but to be able to sell the level of products that we do. I don't think somebody would buy a Lamborghini, Ferrari, Maserati over online without having a chance to experience it first. And with the higher end audio, people really want to experience it first.
Do most sales transpire once the client's been through some type of demo with the gear?
I don't know if I would say that every demo results in a sale, but every demo results in a further education to the consumer about why quality audio and why the cost of quality audio costs what it does compared to maybe an MP3 going through a pair of inexpensive bookshelf speakers. But we do find that it continually educates and plants the seed for better quality audio. Plus, we hold events with the higher end audio manufacturers in our showroom. We have a nice place, nice showroom, and it's good for holding events. And we get a lot of the manufacturers and people who are either the owners, founders of some of the audio companies to come here and do presentations. And their names are known throughout the, I'll call, audiophile community. So when they see we're having somebody from the founder from AudioQuest or VPI Turntables or the head dude from Bryston, it's a big draw.
Got it. Understood. Our audience out there, thanks again for sticking with us through our tech difficulties. We did lose all of our oomph in terms of gaining audience through the shares and the comments that you guys were making. So if you don't mind, there we go. We see some more people popping in. Give us a comment, say hello, and if you don't mind, share the actual live feed. The previous feed died on us, on all of us, and therefore, this is now the feed that we need people tuning into. So give us a comment, let us know you're out there, and thanks again for being patient with us. Dave, you guys are founding members of the group called Bravas. And we had Paul Starkey. He was actually our first guest on Automation Unplugged back in April. And you guys saw vision or saw what that group could be. And I'd love to have you tell our audience, what is Bravas and why did your business decide to join Bravas?
Bravas is a cooperative of dealers across the country, and actually we have one member in Canada, and the primary objective of Bravas was to get dealers together and get them on the same standard operating procedures, how you recognize inventory, how you recognize a sale, how certain things are done on the back end of business, because the goal is to give us an exit strategy. As small business owners, we can attempt to sell our businesses through individual sales, however that may be, maybe through our employees, through somebody who wants to buy our company. But as smaller businesses and business owners, the perspective for somebody big coming and buying us for big bags of money, as Bill Morton would say, who some of you may know who he is, companies who are working on the same platform and seeing how you rank, how you rate, how small increments or changes in what you're doing can actually affect your bottom line. Because after all, we don't run in the most profitable of business categories out there, but we are a profitable sector of industry, and we need to be able to find ways, just small ways, just really small ways, to make improvements in our profit and also be able to service our clients better. So that's our goal, that's our strategy, and we're looking to be able to improve in every way we can.
You've been working with Steve and Paul through Bravas as a member for the last several years, do any metrics of performance come to mind in terms of, you started a moment ago talking about standardizing operational procedures as well as improving financial measurement, and one of those is knowing how your peers are doing. Have you been able to put your finger, you and George, put your finger on some of the improvements that have resulted in your business by simply being better at finance and management?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think increasing our technicians' billable time is a major focus on for everybody. I mean, we pay our techs, and we pay everybody who's on hourly or salary to be to work a full day and work a full week. But being able to measure what the performance is out of how much we're able to bill for that versus what we pay for that is really big, and we're seeing the numbers get better and better, pretty much month over month. We also look at what's another big number? Another big number is where our inventory levels are versus where our sales are versus where our projects are in relation to progress. We were having brought too much inventory in for projects way before they were ready to be delivered and installed, and so we're able to see our inventory levels versus our sales levels and compare that also with our pipeline of what kind of work we have coming up.
Okay, understood. Well, I appreciate you sharing that with our audience.
Sure.
And hopefully Facebook is still cooperating. I saw it freeze up there for a little bit, so we'll keep rolling with it. Now, Dave, you are also Hi-Fi Sales is also a member of ProSource, a buying group. How long has your business been a member of a buying group, and why did you single out that particular group versus some of the other very fine groups that are out there?
Well, we've been a member of ProSource, I think it's 17 years. And at that point, or at that time when we joined, I don't think there was any other buying group that was more specific to the consumer electronics side of things. There were other buying groups that dabbled a lot in or included appliances and other things. And of course, ProSource is part of BrandSource, so they handle and deal with buying with independents that sell appliances and bedding and furniture. But there's a specific division of ProSource, BrandSource, which is ProSource. And somebody walked in the front door of our building when we were on the other side of Cherry Hill, gave us the 411, and we've been a member ever since. And the amount of money that we've been able to add to our bottom line because of better programs we have and all the other benefits is astounding. I just went through a benefit review with my ProSource rep, and the amount that we get back versus what we put in is a good day at the casino.
Now, you said a benefits review. What is a benefits review, and what does that consist of?
So what our rep, our ProSource rep, in my case Bobby Dodge, will do is we'll do a screen share, we'll do a go-to-meeting, and he'll show me all the things that we buy product-wise that are through manufacturers that are participating in a ProSource program. He shows me the stuff that we buy out of the ProSource warehouse, known as Expert Warehouse, and compare our purchases versus what we got back, the extra amount we got back from being a member in dollars and in program benefits. And it's just a way for them to show you what your investment is getting you for what I consider a very reasonable price for membership.
So you spend $1 and you get $2 back, something like that.
It's a lot more than that, but
A lot
yes.
more than $2. Well, heck, that's, I'd put a lot more than $1 in. That's fun. Now, Dave, you guys are this year. You're CEPro 100. I think you're. I believe I have the number right. I think you're number 85 out of the 100. And you've been in the CEPro 100 now year after year. For a number of years in a row. What advice would you give any of our viewers out there that aren't in the CEPro 100 but would like to grow their business to be in the CEPro 100? Any words of advice, for the, I don't want to say the young folks out there, it might be old folks. Everybody needs help.
Yeah.
What could you share?
CEPro 100 is the top 100 integrators in terms of revenue. So that number is based on annual revenue. So there's probably a number of people out there that are real close to breaking into the CEPro 100 list and really grow your business. How do we grow our business? Other than the normal things that we were doing, we've recently gotten deeply involved with lighting control.
So your advice for others that would like to move into the CEPro 100, that's the nature of the question. What advice would you give the other business owners out there, integration firms that would like to get into the revenue level that would earn them that ranking?
Let's see. Sell more expensive products, and not necessarily just because they're more expensive, but because they do give a better experience to the client. Whether it's a speaker, spec the next model speaker up, add a few more control points in the system around the house for the client, and get into different aspects of what we can now offer our clients to be able to increase your revenue: lighting, shading, networking, surveillance cameras, all the things that are becoming piled on top of what we already do and are controllable by our control systems.
Dave, what's your understanding of the consumer walking in the door today, and you're still involved in sales, and their knowledge of this thing called the Internet of Things, and their savviness around all things technology and automation and how that's affected your business? Do you have a perspective you could share on that?
They're confused. They're highly misinformed. They're looking for someplace to be able to help them out. It's just like any new technology. It gets adopted by these early adopters, and a lot of people don't want to know what goes on behind the curtain to make all this work. They just want a system that works. We had a customer come in the other Saturday. I happen to be working a Saturday, which I occasionally do. And the customer said, what's a smart home? Do I need a smart home? So they're clearly not completely...
Was your reply, how much money do you have?
Oh, we have a... No, I may have thought about it. I didn't say it. But, we have to start explaining from the beginning what things can be controlled and why a home is smart. And then they start to get it once we show them, apps on the phone and all the things we can combine together to make a smart home. So consumers are definitely confused and definitely misinformed. But the awareness is becoming so much greater as we can see the proliferation of custom integrators that are around.
I'm going to ask you an off-the-wall question, but I tend to do that on occasion. Do you mind giving a credit or kudos to, say, a vendor partner of yours that you think really goes above and beyond to support hi-fi sales? Year in, year out, consistently, they really go out of their way to impress you and your team with support.
Well, I'll start out with one of the newest vendors we've taken on. Again, we're also focused on audio, but pretty much everybody who's doing probably home automation has at least one room in the house that's the family room where the family gets together and watches a movie, maybe a dedicated theater, a multi-purpose room that's a theater and also a room used for other things, maybe a pool table or a dartboard or something there. And that company's SVS, and they make killer subwoofers and great speakers, and we just had an event with them, and they are always promoting us. They were a direct-to-consumer company, and now they have adopted the integrator and people like Hi-Fi Sales that has a showroom, and so they drive a lot of traffic to our company through their social media, through their posts, and by supporting us in ways that most manufacturers have forgotten because they're not used to dealing with companies or never did deal with companies that had showrooms. So kudos to SVS for doing that. Another audio.
That's
go ahead.
Gary, right?
Yep, Gary Jacobian.
Yep.
And he comes from the kind of company like ours that had a showroom and also focused on custom as well as better audio. But try to think of some of the other companies.
So you were about to give another shout out, and I stepped on you there for a moment. So
so another one is back to audio techniques. Techniques is back in a big way with. We do turntables. A lot of people are into vinyl, so we do turntables. And Techniques reintroduced their infamous SL1200 turntable. We're one of the dealers, one of the few dealers that has been authorized to sell the new Techniques line. And I use, and you know this, but maybe a lot of people out there don't. Most people probably don't. I use your lead concierge service, the One Firefly lead concierge service on our One Firefly website. And we get a lot of, so your agents, your folks chat with people on our website. Then I get a report back on what the chat is about, if it requires any follow-up. And a lot of it is in regards to questions to Techniques, turntables, Techniques amplifiers, Techniques speakers. A lot of the lead concierge chats that happen on our website are due to people finding out that we're a Techniques dealer. So,
do you think that particular product that, well, I'll back up here. I believe that in some cases, in some markets, the hi-fi consumer will have researched some product and they'll know they want that product, and then they're going on a hunt to find where can they acquire that product. And is that what you're seeing here? Is it queries where they are literally doing a search and they're seeing Hi-Fi Sales as the local reseller for that product, and then they're reaching out?
Yes, they are. They do a lot of research. They do a lot of reading of reviews. They go into forums. They go into different places that audiophiles go to learn about other product. Techniques is wonderful in supporting our company by having us listed on their website. There's not too many people that sell the product. We just closed a deal for a really nice sale to a woman in Utah. She called here. Yeah, she was up early. For her, saw that we're on the East Coast and we answered the phone because if she called somebody locally, they would still be asleep or not open yet. And we developed a really nice rapport, and she ended up buying a system from us, and it was a nice. It was the perfect marketing, circle. Get it out there, get people to call us, give them the information, and then close the deal. And she'll be a client for a long time.
That's awesome, and I appreciate you, Dave, bringing up Lead Concierge. If you'll allow me, we'll schedule a follow-up Automation Unplugged episode, and we'll just do a deep dive into the marketing and that you're currently doing and that we're working together on. I think there's a lot of fun stuff that we're executing on behalf of Hi-Fi Sales. If you're out there and you want to just know right now what are those things, certainly go to hifisales.com, check out their website. You also can go to the One Firefly website and go to case studies, and we have a case study right up there on the website where you can learn more about Hi-Fi Sales and what they're doing. Now, Dave, I just want to close with maybe another fun question, I hope, and that is when you're not saving the world from homes that are lacking control or good music, I believe you're often out on the racetrack. Can you share with our audience a little bit one of your passions?
Sure. As most people who have been around at any of the trade shows or walked in here and had mentioned anything having to do with cars or motorsports, they know it's easy to get me to talk about driving a car on the racetrack. I do have I call it a track car. It's a race car. It's a stripped and caged BMW M3, and I just have always been into the auto sports, and found out that somebody like me can, after a little bit of training, go out and drive a real race course, racetrack. And so I don't know if I can move this over here. There's my car.
Oh yeah, there she is. I see her.
It is.
Is it a he or a she?
It's an it. I don't personify my cars.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Now, when you're racing that thing, how fast are you going, or is it more about maneuverability, or is it just
it's more
speed?
about it's more about handling and skill. But I think that car, before I hit the rev limiter, will go 139. But it's really the fun of driving a road course that's very technical and requires a lot of understanding of what we call the friction circle, and how braking and acceleration and turning all have a relationship to each other. It requires a very technical aspect and part of your mind. And while you're out there, you're not thinking about anything else, because if you mess up, the consequences could be pretty serious. So I love doing it. I've just become an instructor for new drivers who want to get on the racetrack with an organization here, and I am having a blast. And as people know, when we get to talking about it, I could talk about that for hours.
Well, I'm still looking forward to getting up there and seeing you and meeting you at the racetrack, and I'll be that newbie ready for some basic instruction. But I'm sure it's going to be a blast.
Love to do it. I think my ability to explain what we do and in our industry to people has definitely helped me instruct and teach other people and impart some knowledge to other people who are, for the first time, newbies on the racetrack, like they might be first time newbie for a home theater or a control system. Sure.
No, that makes perfect sense. Well, David, you have been very, very generous with your time today, and despite our little glitch earlier, you said, Ron, let's just keep on trucking. So I appreciate the positive energy and the good spirit. And Dave, you've been a great guest on Automation Unplugged, and thank you very much for joining me and our audience today.
Thank you, Ron. Thanks for the opportunity to get out there and talk to everybody about automation and everything else that makes our company Hi-Fi Sales tick.
Awesome. All right, gang. Well, there you have it. Another episode number 9 of Automation Unplugged. That was Dave Gilbert, Senior Vice President of Hi-Fi Sales. Hi-Fi Sales is number 85 on the CEPro 100 list. Dave is also a founding member of the Bravas group. I say Dave, synonymous with Hi-Fi Sales. Hi-Fi Sales also is an active member of the ProSource Buying Group, amongst their many other associations and activities. So thanks for joining us today. Hopefully next week we won't have any issues, but I appreciate everyone out there, your patience, and continuing to follow us. And the activity, as we've been watching it on the consumption of these shows, it's been growing every week, which is really exciting, and that's all thanks to you guys. So thanks again, and I won't see you next week, by the way. I'm going to Cancun next week, so I'm going on vacation. But I'll be back the week after, and we actually have guests booked now through into the early fall. So there's a really cool lineup of folks that I'll be having on. And look forward to sharing with you those guests and all the fun conversations that we're going to have. So thanks again, guys. Take care. I'll see you soon.